Hello. I just finished editing this video and I wanted to do a quick intro for it. Basically some speedy spoilers for what's coming up. I disassemble a Yeti Nano. The hardest part is getting that volume knob off. It's crazy tough. Later I show how it's put together so you can see it's safe to just pull it out in case you're trying to take yours apart. I did edit out a section of video where I tried to pry it out. It didn't work, and I scratched some of the black paint that hides the LED light. Kinda not cool, but fixable with a Sharpie. I also do a bit of teardown going to what's inside and then later expose the capsules that capture the sound. The mic wasn't working properly, so I had expected to replace the USB port, but I found a better solution which I discussed. Basically, it's replacing the stock cable with one that has a better end, which I hopefully explained clearly so you can see which will work for you if you are experiencing the same kind of issue. Finally, though it turned out I didn't have to replace the USB port, I still kind of wanted to. It would be tricky work, removing glue and working close to small parts near and under the port. If anyone has one of these mics with a USB port that they want or need replaced, contact me. I'm open to attempting a replacement, of course for free, and I'd post the video of it in the hopes that it's useful for someone. And now, onward into a video where I don't solder my fingers or slightly electrocute myself. And if you have any thoughts or ideas, please do leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And thanks for being here, and I hope the video helps you out. Howdy and welcome. This is Nerdlands, and I'm John. And today I'm going to be attempting to repair a Blue Yeti Nano that I got on eBay, pretty cheap. And it was one of those where it said they weren't sure whether it was working. They didn't test it. What they didn't show was that the stand was broken. Pretty badly. I've already taken it out. It's the little screws. You just loosen the screws. That's the easy part. And from there, to disassemble this, it's a couple steps. This knob is really hard to get out. So using a piece of cloth here. There. That's hard. That's really hard. Hopefully I didn't scratch it up too much. And then the next thing is right here in the bottom. You can't see, but let me turn on the light. Ha! There. In there, you can tell it's a little Torx. And so we'll pull out the good old Fix-It. And I read somewhere that it was Torx 5 or Torx 6. Let's see what this one does. I think it's too big, but we'll see. Yep. Let's see what that is. That is a T6. So I was actually looking at the 7. Yep, that's it. It's kind of long. Ah, there we go. Right up there. We'll save that. Put this to the side. Let's take another quick look at this. This is the volume knob that was in there. It's got some sort of LED light and probably in here. Oh, cool. So this thing, the whole thing lights up from inside there somewhere. But if you want to see why it's so hard, actually, that doesn't seem like it'd be that hard, but it is. And it's snug. So this should now come off. There we go. Button's still staying in the back. Just gonna leave that in there. Well, let's take a look at that one too, with the light on. So that's what it looks like inside there. It's just glued on. Let's take a look at this. That's a STM32401. I love STMs. Hi, so I was editing this and I realized all I said was STM32. I got kind of caught up in the moment. Or I didn't even say 32, I just said STM chip. And what I meant was STM32. Specifically, the ones I love are the STM32F103, and then add whatever you want after that. The Blue Pill, the Maple, these kinds of microcontrollers that can be programmed with an Arduino IDE. This one's a little different. It's beefier, stronger, more powerful, bionic. It's the STM32F4. Instead of F1. And what's really cool is that the Blue Yeti, the normal one, has a Cmedia CM4600, maybe it's 6400, something like that, chip in there that comes from Cmedia, and it's got everything built into it. So it can do all the sampling and handle the button pushes and everything, and also the USB host, and all that you have to have is another little chip that is pre-programmed with, you know, stuff like the name Blue Microphone, so that when you plug it in, the USB, it pops up and says this is a Blue Microphone USB device. But that all of that now is handled by this one STM32F4 microcontroller chip, which means that you could program it yourself. You could build one of these. And they're not as cheap as the STM32F1s, but they're pretty cheap. And the ability to have something so specialized on a chip that is sort of general purpose. And you can even program this chip with the Arduino IDE. How cool is that? I mean, you probably want to do C++ instead of the Arduino processing language. You probably have to, but still, you can do it. And to me, that's just so killer. But in any case, I think it's awesome, and I wanted to share that a little bit and geek out for a second, which I have done. So back to the video. Didn't expect to see that in there. Now, the normal Yeti has two boards, one for analog, and then the digital board is separate. Just kind of looking up into where the capsule is up here. Can we see that pretty well there? All right, stargazing. I love looking at boards, so that's why I'm spending a lot of time on this. All right, let's go back here. And don't really see anything that's wrong with this. It just doesn't seem to get a good connection. Let's look at the inside of it. If possible. There we go. That actually looks pretty good to me. It's got all this gel stuff on there. I guess maybe it's glue. Probably glue to solve the problem that isn't being solved. Now, I don't know if it's just a bad port or if it's a bad connection. But I'm going to take this offline and find the right port, and I'll be back in a little bit. It won't seem like any time because I'm going to stop the video and start it again. All right, so I actually looked at it a little bit more. I've got a older cable that has always been sort of my tightest cable. And I kind of think that the included cable that they include isn't very good. And that might be a big part of the problem. It's a very long, no name, brand, or anything cable. This one's different. This one's mine. And here's part of the problem. That wiggle, I don't know if you can tell. That wiggle right there is enough. Just checking to make sure it hasn't dropped out. Yeah, that wiggle right there is enough normally to make it drop out. That's as far in as it goes. And if I unplug it and plug it back in, the computer's going to switch over to it. So I'm going to leave it plugged in for the moment. But with an older, tighter USB male side, it's actually working a lot better. It still wiggles in an uncool way. So this port needs to be able to hold the cable more snugly. So I can either replace the port, or I could try to reform the port. I'll be back. All right, I'm using a different cable now. And what's going to happen is, as soon as I jiggle this, it's going to load the Nano as the mic. So I'm not going to talk for a little bit, but okay, so when you see the light flicker off like that, that's the Nano. Now it's completely off, so it switches back to my normal mic when that happens. No, it's from the Nano. So you get the idea. That's the problem. But like I said, with the other cable, fits more snug. It's not a problem. So basically I need to figure out the best approach. Replace the port, squeeze the port. One problem with replacing the port is that there's a lot of stuff right on the other side. So those aren't necessarily things that we would want to get really hot and ideally not fall off if they were heated up. So tricky. Yeah, so I'm gonna actually get out the magnifying glasses and take some really sharp and deep looks inside. See, there might be an easier way to fix it. I'll be back. All right. So actually I did a lot of testing and I found out that cables that are new and not worn work really well. Solid 100% performance. I'm not going to change this port at this time. I actually have one of these. I don't really like that it doesn't go through the board, and that you'd have to melt the glue around these other things. But the problem doesn't exist if the right cables are used, and I've got quite a few that work fine. This is a new one. One of the things that seems to matter is, and let me switch over to the other camera and turn on the light there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get as close as I want. If you look at this side, there's two little teeth that sort of catch when they go in. On the bad cable, the teeth are about half the size as they are on the good cable. It shouldn't really matter. Like any of these cables should work. They work in everything else. But this cable and other ones that it doesn't work, they all have the same problem. They all have these almost half-size teeth. And if you compare, maybe it's not even half size, maybe it's like a quarter the size. So if I use this cable or another one like it that has teeth that stick out farther, it all works. So I'm not going to take the chance of ruining the rest of this, at least not right now, to get this working when I know I can get it working with a proper cable. I don't know if that's going to be a solution that's going to work for everybody. It definitely would be fun to take that on. And I would be glad to if it wasn't working. But since I know I can get it reliably working, I don't want to break something that's working. So maybe that will help you out. I'm sure there's other ones like this. I could wiggle it in any direction and it would break contact and go off and on and off and on. And with the cables that work, that just doesn't happen. So I'm going to reassemble this, and if it doesn't continue to work, I'll be back again. But I think this is a solution for now, and hopefully this will be a solution for other people. One thing I was thinking is to use just a little extension and plug the extension into here, and then only plug, and whenever you're hooking it up and plugging and unplugging, only plugging into an extension so this doesn't get any more wear. You still have to worry about it getting pulled and strain on it, but the port itself wouldn't get worn out by constantly plugging it in and unplugging it. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody. Please let me know in the comments what you think. If you think I should have gone ahead and done it, or if this helps you out, I'd really like to know that. These are cool little mics, and I can't imagine how frustrating that would be to get it and want it to work, and then having it flicker on and off like that. So, yeah, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, of course, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Actually, while I've got it open, I think I want to take a look deeper inside. So I started taking this one out already. Same Torx 5. Is that what we said? 5 or 6? I think it's 5. I'll look real quick. Nope, it's 6. Don't listen to that guy. I was just talking. He doesn't know what he's talking about. This may not actually do anything except take off the board. It might not make it the capsules come out. We'll see. Okay. Whoa. So really? These are different sizes? We'll see. These guys were on this side. I don't think they're different. I really don't. But we'll see. Even if they are, I don't know if I could tell, if I could spot the size difference. Woo! Alright, so there's nothing in there except for foam. Built-in pop filter, I guess, windscreen. There you go. It's keyed, so it can only go back in one way, that way. Thankfully, because I wasn't paying that close attention, I would have to watch the video to see which way it goes back in together. That fits on, little ledge. Hopefully that's all clear enough. And little bit of a rubber. Looks like that would pop out. And those are just held up there. Somewhat softly. So that's all there is to that. I'm gonna throw it all back together and we'll see you in the next video for real this time. Alright, so this is really the last time I'm coming back. I am Gorilla Gluing, Super Gluing the broken stand together that came that way from eBay. I don't know, maybe it got broken in shipping. There's a little dent right there that makes it look like it took a dive, like it was dropped or thrown. It's possible it didn't work. It kept cutting out. the owner got really angry and threw the whole thing across the room, breaking this and then returning it. In any case, the sound you're hearing now is coming from the Blue. With the good connector, it works great. It sounds so nasal. I know people complain about the high end in Blues, but part of it is the distance. I've got it really far away from me. And you should never hold these things by hand because of all the precious. My precious. But yeah, if I get closer, then it sounds more realistic. It sounds more intimate. That's so close that I think you can hear my nose whistling. Okay, that was too close. But if it is a little close, put it behind this pop filter. That sounds kind of pro, I think. Sounds kind of pro to me in the headphones that I've got on, which are plugged in right there. Anyway, that's it. Feel free to make fun of me in the comments or just say hi. Love to hear from you. And really, we'll see you in the next one. I'm not going to come back again on this video. I don't think. I think I'm done.